Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about newfound confidence after coming out, because let's be real, it was something that I discovered that I had, was this just burst of confidence after I came out, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about it. And also, look at my little baby cat. She's sleeping and I really want to squish her, but I also don't want her to run away, so I'm just gonna you guys can look at her all you like. She's all here for you to see. She's so cute. So yes, I wanted to talk about this topic simply because right after it's a question that people always ask me when they, ask about my coming out process and how everything was. The one question that always follows is, so how do you feel now that you've come out and people now know? And honestly, before I came out, I thought I would feel a lot of, I guess, awkwardness, because I thought I would have to adjust with all of my relationships, all my friends and family and stuff. I thought I'd have to, that my relationship with them would somehow change. And so I, before coming out, thought that coming out would involve me being after coming out would be really awkward, and it would be the whole kind of relearning the relationships again, but it was nothing like that. And I say this because after I came out, I realized that I started walking with a bit more confidence, and that sounds a bit weird, but it's true. And also the types of clothes that that straight me would never wear, I'm now wearing now, after having came out, I'm now wearing those things, because I think my, reasoning for wearing those clothes has changed. Before, I used to, I think I wanted male, what's the word? Appreciation. I think that's the word. And I wanted them to look at me, and I wanted to feel pretty in the male gaze. But after coming out, I've noticed that I now want to feel pretty in the female gaze, and I want girls to look at me and think, oh, she's really pretty. And and we all know that the male gaze versus the female gaze is two very hugely contrasting and very different things. And I mean, if you want me to make a video about that, I can, because it's a topic that I find so interesting because of how different it really is. But yeah, now I wanted to package myself for the female gaze. And it sounds so weird because female gaze sounds exactly like female gaze, and I'm a female gay who's trying to attract female gays. It's just, that was a really bad joke, I'm so sorry. It's just something I noticed. But one time I can think of really clearly when I had this burst of confidence, or realizing I was a much more confident person, was when I went shopping I think it was a few days, maybe a week or so after I actually came out to my mum and my brother. So yeah, once my mum and my brother knew, we went shopping in, I think, DFO a few days or a few weeks. The timeline is a bit hazy, but I went shopping with them and we went to DFO. And there I remember, first of all, we went to Connor to buy some stuff for my brother. And I remember I saw these pants that I really liked. I guess straight me wouldn't have worn it because I would have thought, oh, it's boy clothes and I can't, wear that kind of stuff, otherwise I'll look too boyish and guys won't like me. But after having realized that I don't want guys to like me, I told my mum that I really like these pants, and she was like, oh, you should go try them on. And I was like, you know what, I will go try them on. So I plopped my way to the dressing room and I tried on these pants, and it was weird because the dressing room was literally just full of boys. I was literally the only girl trying clothes on. There were a lot of girlfriends, but they were there with their boyfriends. So the changing room was full of boys. So I just plonked myself in. I tried these pants on and I thought they fit really well. So I ended up buying them. And I remember like when I bought these pants, I thought I would never have done that prior to me coming out. And another instance was when I bought this, that same day I went to Glassons and I bought the same shirt I wore in my coming out video. So that is a shirt that I bought on that trip, but it was like a kind of puffy, it's got like puff sleeves, a really low deep V neck, and it kind of like frills a little bit. I don't know how to explain it. If you want to see what it looks like, you can check out my coming out video because I am wearing it in that video. But I remember I pulled it off the rack, and again I was like, this is really cute, isn't it? And my mum was like, you can get it if you want, like, will you wear it? Because let's be real, I don't have boobs, so low neck things are always like, one, there's nothing to look at, you're just gonna see empty, like an empty valley. And also I don't want to risk flashing anyone, so I never really wear anything too low, because then I'm stuck doing this like the whole time I'm wearing it, or I'm like pulling it up this way, or I'm doing like, because I feel exposed. And also there's like nothing there to look at. But anyways, I said, I think it's really cute. And she was like, do you want to go try it on? I said, okay, I guess I'll try it on. It fit really well and I really loved it. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get it. And my mum was so shocked. She was like, oh my God. Because again, this is not something straight me would have ever bought. Straight me would have looked at that top longingly, being like, oh, I wish. But she never would have bought it, because she would have been like, because again, I look a bit too good in that top. So I'm like, maybe it would, if I bought it when I was straight, it would like attract like male attention. See, this was the kerfuffle I was in, because straight me wanted male attention, but at the same time she didn't want male attention. And this is when, like, when I look back, I'm like, how did I not realize that this was like a little bit of a flag? Like, how did I not realize that this is a big thing? Because girls who are straight just want the male attention. They don't really think that far into it. But I was like, I want it, but I don't want it. Like, you know, no one, it didn't even make sense to me. But now looking back at it, I'm like, well, that's just a really gay person. That's just a lesbian who hasn't yet come to terms with her lesbianism. So I was like, I couldn't have bought it when I was straight. But after I came out, I was like, oh, I have to buy cute clothes. So then girls look at me. And so girls think, oh, she's really pretty. I hope she's kind of gay. Like, that's kind of what I want. My mum just dropped off an iced coffee. I don't know how she makes it different, but it tastes so much better when she makes it. But yes, the newfound confidence after coming out had to do with the fact that I now wanted to dress and, you know, act and hold myself so I'm pretty to other girls. Yeah, that was why I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear clothes that I probably would never have worn before, or like do my makeup a different way, or, you know, actually experiment with makeup. I feel like that's a way I can tell if a girl is gay as well, is if they have really intricate makeup. I'm like, oh, she might be a little bit fruity. She might be a bit gay. She might be bisexual, might be pansexual. I don't know. She's part of the LGBT community. So yes, I feel like the whole like experimenting with makeup thing is a way for me to flag other girls who I'm like, she might be part of the LGBT community. And I think that's because girls appreciate makeup more than guys appreciate makeup. So they would, you know, more likely, you know, compliment the makeup. They might be like, hey, I really like your eyeshadow, or what is your lip color? You know, conversation starters. That's why I was like, oh, maybe I should experiment with my makeup a little bit more, because, you know, maybe some cute girl is going to stop me and ask me what my makeup is, like what my lipstick is or what my eyeshadow is. So that was another thing. I was like, I need to experiment with makeup a little bit more. Another thing that I never cared for when I was straight, but after I came out, I was like, oh, I think I need to like do this. And that's who it took me a while. I only really got them recently, but they are rings. So I've had like this ring for ages, but I didn't really care for rings much. My mum has like a bunch of rings, and you know, I was like, they're probably just going to be a hindrance and bloody blah. All of a sudden I was like, man, I need to have some rings. And the reason was simply so that I'm a little bit more identifiable to other girls. So more people know that I'm not straight. So I got a bunch of them. And I like wearing rings on these fingers. I know thumb rings is a big gay thing, but I mean, it's not part of the it doesn't fit the pattern. Finding a ring for this finger, like my left ring finger, was an absolute nightmare. This I think is like a kid's ring. Like from where I got it, she was like, this is like one of the smallest sizes we have, and it only fits because it's like adjustable. Like that was a struggle, finding rings that fit my abnormally tiny fingers was a struggle. The rest of them are from Pandora, and this one is like really big for this finger, but I specifically wanted this ring, and I was like, do we not have it in a size smaller? And she's like, no, we only have it in a 48. So I was like, 48 fits these fingers, my index finger. So I was like, it's not gonna work, but it's kind of loose, but it stays, whatever. But this one is too loose. My fingers are just weird. Yeah, rings was another thing. I was like, oh, now that I've come out, I need more people to know. How do you do that? How do you go about doing that? TikTok is a great place to find out about these things, because, I mean, obviously I'm on gay TikTok, so I know, you know, I have a lot of like gay TikTokers on my thing, and a lot of them will be like, rings, how can you tell if a femme girl is gay? Rings. And I'm like, oh shit, I need rings. So I got some rings. And then it was like the whole keeping your nails short. So I have always quite liked long nails, but I go through phases where I want long nails and then I'll feel so annoyed by the long nails, so I'll chop them off. But after coming out, I was like, man, I need to keep these short. So I've kept them short. They currently have some like gel on it from a wedding I went to about 2 weeks ago. They're growing out, but I think I might get them redone, or I might just take them off myself. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, well, I can have pretty nails, but if I keep them short, then that's a pretty good sign too. Yes, I think the whole like confidence after coming out has a lot to do with finally being comfortable with the fact that people know like a part of your identity and they've accepted a part of your identity. Now, I'm not saying that people have to accept you in order for you to feel good, but it helps. You know, it helps. Like knowing that the people around me who I care about the most accept this part of me, it obviously does give you a bit of a boost. It gives you a bit of like a pep. And I think that was the other thing, right? Like knowing that I'm finally not confused about things, you know, and knowing that a huge part of me, which otherwise would have just been hidden away forever, is like now open to the public. And it's so, I guess, cathartic to have everything out in the open. It's so cathartic to know that everyone you love knows about your sexuality, because it might not seem important, but it's little things like this which really make life a little bit easier. You know, not having to constantly explain to people that, you know, I'm not interested in boys, or not having to deal with the whole accidental, so what's your boyfriend gonna be like? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Because something beeped. Because that was a thing, right? Like before you come out, like before I came out, people would ask me like, why don't you have any crushes yet? Or Why don't you have a boyfriend yet? Do you think you're ever going to get a boyfriend? What's your ideal type of boy? And now the questions have switched, so I can actually comfortably share certain things. Like they'll ask me like what my type of, like what my ideal girlfriend will be like, and blah blah blah. And it's nice to have those conversations, but about people you actually find attractive. Otherwise, before I think I had to, you know, put on that, yeah, these people are so attractive, even though, no, even though I didn't find them attractive. Like, I mean, I specifically remember before coming out, like in high school and primary and whatever, when I was in school, people would always ask me like, who are like your celebrity crushes? And I remember being like, having to Google them like the night before and like memorizing a bunch of these dudes' names so then I could go to school the next day and be like, oh yeah, Dylan O'Brien was always there. And I always said Dylan O'Brien, and I always said Harry Styles, and like I those are like two people whose names I really knew very well, so I used to say those two a lot. Now, do I find them attractive? Yes, I find them very attractive. I also find Heath Ledger from 10 Things I Hate About You so attractive. But see, the difference is that I don't want to date them. I don't want to marry them. I don't want to do anything sexual with them. I just think that they're attractive. That's the thing, right? Like after coming out, I can objectively say that some men are attractive, but it's literally objective. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want to date them. I don't want to be their girlfriend. I don't even like, I can just objectively be like, yes, he's attractive. No, he's not attractive. You know, it's funny because my brother every second day, not literally every second day, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but he will come up to me and he'll be like, do you think this guy is attractive? Do you think this guy is attractive, from these like dudes on TikTok? And I'm always like, no. But the funny thing is, after coming out, my brother and I can now like talk about girls. So he'll show me like pictures of girls. He'll be like, do you think she's attractive? What about her? Do you think she's attractive? What about her? Do you think she's attractive? And it's just so funny because I could never have imagined doing that like before I came out. And then my brother is still like 7 years younger than me, so his like, it's interesting because we have such a huge age gap that it's like interesting to see his point of view and like parallel to my point of view. It's interesting, but I could never have imagined talking about like girlfriends with my brother before I came out. It's so weird. Now I get that this like confidence after coming out might not be the case for everyone, but it was just something that I have experienced, and I feel like I also hold myself differently, carry myself differently, like in public compared to how I used to. Like I feel like I walk a bit, like my posture's a bit better, and I am a bit more, I don't know how to explain. Confident is quite literally the only word I can use, and I do that, and I feel like I need to be this way in public, so then girls' eyes actually like land on me, you know what I mean? Because as much as this might sound a bit narcissistic, I want to be that girl who guys find attractive, sure, but they get upset when they find out I'm gay, and then the girls are like, oh yes, she's gay. Like it's like a win for their team. That's kind of what I want, and because I want that, I'm like, oh, I have to dress really well, you know? Yeah, it's nice to like, I understand that not everyone's comfortable with coming out, and some people may never come out, which is really sad to think about, because I mean, for me personally, coming out has been one of the best things I've done. So it's so sad to think about that some people might never come out and just, you know, go on living their life pretending to be straight, or even in straight relationships, and that's kind of upsetting. But I do want to say that for people who haven't yet come out, who plan on coming out sometime in the future, whenever, the moment after you come out and like the few weeks to months after you come out is always so good, because people are so excited to meet you and they have so many questions to ask you, and you feel in a way important because people are so either gobsmacked by your discovery or they're so curious that they like need to tell you their thoughts. And I personally loved that experience of like, I didn't even care if I was being invited to things simply because of the fact that I just came out. I couldn't care less. I liked the attention. I liked people asking me questions. And I mean, I love when people ask me questions, and even if they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to be offensive, it's like, it's okay, just ask me the question. I want to help you understand certain things better. And I don't know, sharing my story is always really interesting, and I don't know, that was a really good part of coming out as well, was the whole sharing your story and, you know, people finding out a little bit more about you, you know, or something about you that they never would have guessed in a million years, because, well, it wasn't really the case for me, because a lot of the people that I knew already before coming out, they were like, it just makes sense. Like, me coming out makes sense. But I can imagine there would have been a few people who would have been like, whoa, this is unexpected. It was like a bomb. I remember after I came out, all of my friends from like school, and even not even friends, but just like people from my school who knew me, they were all talking about me at some point. And how did I know about this? I knew about it through one of my friends. She was like, oh, by the way, they were talking about you, they were talking about you, they were talking about you, they were talking about you. And it kind of gave me a bit of a good feeling. I was like, what were they? They were talking about me? Like, importance. And I think that's the other thing, right? Like, coming out just gave me a bit of a pep in my step, because I started doing things a bit differently. And that confidence of knowing that I'm finally out and I don't have any life-changing secrets left in me is always good. It's like a weight off my shoulders, quite literally, because, you know, well, it's a big thing to be hiding your sexuality. It's a big thing, and I get it if it kind of feels like a burden, because it kind of is, you know, like, why do you have to keep hiding this part of yourself that's totally normal and totally okay? So the fact that I don't have to hide it anymore and I can talk openly about it and no one will be like, huh, is so nice. You know, it's such a nice feeling. It's refreshing. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this week's video. Like, I literally just wanted to sit down and chat with you guys. So I was just, I'm going to turn on the camera and talk to you as if I'm talking to my friends, because, well, you are my friends. So that's exactly how I went about doing it. I just wanted to say that to people who haven't yet come out, I wish you all the best. If you do plan to come out at some point, and I hope everyone around you is super supportive and super loving, because I think everyone deserves that. And that is quite literally the bare minimum, because sexuality is normal, you know? It's not a weird thing, and people should stop making such a big deal out of things like your child being gay. Anyways, yeah, so if you are planning to come out sometime soon, or even if you're not, I just hope that you're loved and that you feel supported, because I know not a lot of people do, and I think that's so sad. But I hope you do feel loved and supported, and if not, then, you know, I'm there for you. You can chat to me. You can talk to me. I again have like my Instagram linked in the description, so if you do want to have a chat, feel free to shoot me a DM. I have no problems with that. I love talking with you guys. Or just, we can have a chat in the comments as well. Not a big deal. But yeah, I think that's it for this week's video. If you guys have any requests for videos, anything you'd like to see, let me know in the comments below. That would be super helpful. I mean, video ideas is always really helpful, but other than that, I think that's it. So I'll see you guys all in my next one. Bye.